Well, hi.
Oh, hi.
So good to see you here.
No, sames.
Oh, welcome to the Life Unfiltered show. That is my bearded beau, Justin. I am Ashley DeWeese. And here we are.
With her spoon hands.
Those are not,
That's
I
what
don't
that's
know
what
what
looks
it
like.
is, but that looks like
It's
a
spoon
spoon.
hands.
Does this look like what
Yep.
you eat with?
Looks like you're holding two spoons.
I, anyways,
That's what they're called. Look it up.
I don't really care that much. But
It's a
thanks.
theatrical term.
Hmm. Hmm. How you doing?
Oh, living the ever loving dream.
You need a beard trim.
Maybe.
It's like when to the point where it's starting to like curl underneath. Like sometimes I'm like, how did I ever get through the Jebediah phase?
You like putting your hands in it like handlebars and riding this pony to the market.
Please don't say that when I have liquid in my mouth, number one.
Well, I was hoping you'd spit it out and really give the folks at home something to entertain
No,
themselves with.
I never loved that beard.
Well,
I mean, I love the man behind it, but I never
right.
loved that version of the beard.
That's how
Like
beards often
literally the
go.
beard, not like that version of
Right.
you.
No, right. I think they all get it.
I mean, not everyone was here for that phase of your life.
Belaboring the point.
The Abraham Lincoln phase,
I was churning some serious butter.
I
Deal with it.
guess. Hmm. I can't
Haters
really
gonna
get a
hate.
I can't really get a good read on you today. I feel like it might be pulling teeth to have this conversation.
Not in the least.
Okay, great. You're
You're
so
just not giving me much to work with. So, it's like
well,
fishing in a dry
you
hole.
could contribute. Like you could like if you don't like the conversation, you can change the conversation.
That is true. Look at you, little nug there for the folks. If you don't like the
Right.
conversation,
Already.
change
We're
the
like
conversation.
3 minutes in.
2 minutes 20.
Okay, great. 2 minutes, 20 seconds.
Make note of it. Write that down.
Um oh,
How are you? You asked how I was. I didn't ask how you were. How are
that's
you?
because you don't really care.
Wow. Woke up and chose violence this morning, apparently.
Well, sometimes it's necessary. I'm good.
Yep. Good, 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 good.
Feeling
Feeling
good.
okay.
Got the
Looking good,
summer
clearly.
Thank you. Got the summer tan going. I told as we were doing our little family walk. So if you don't follow me on the gram or
And why don't you,
the
dummy?
Facebook, um, you have not seen me then because you don't follow me, share our daily walking. And I've started to call it like walks and talks. And more often than not, it is the two kids and the beard and I. But anyways,
Walking and
first
talking, if you'll
first
believe
of
that.
all, walking and talking. The beard and I are just continually working to get more movement into our life. You are usually just better at naturally getting more steps in your day
Well, I
than
move a
I.
lot.
I feel like you have to be less intentional than I do.
Right. I'm a mover and a shaker.
And I mean, obviously, that's simply because at some point you made the decision that you wanted to move more. And so now it's just kind of, you know, more natural.
It's just woven into my fabric.
But since April 1st, I had one day. So in April, I committed to 7,500 steps a day. And I had one day that I missed. Actually, I think I did it. It doesn't really matter. I had one day that I missed. But other than that one day, I had 7,500 steps in April every day but one. And then after that, so all of May, and now we're here in July, it's been 10,000 steps or more a day. So long story short, in that move, see what I did there?
I see what you did there.
To be more intentional with our movements, we've just brought our kids along and like, hey, we're going to go walk 2 laps around the block. And we do that a couple different times throughout our entire day. And more often
Breakfast,
than
lunch, and
not,
dinner normally.
yeah, and more often than not, they're going with us, and anyways, I share that on my stories from time to time, and sometimes it's like we walk in silence, sometimes we're totally annoyed at them on the walk, Sometimes we're totally annoyed at each other on the walk. And other times it's like great conversations, fun, lighthearted. Sometimes it's conversations about important life stuff.
Like
So
life lessons.
family walks and talks. Been kind of cool. Why was I telling that?
I have no idea.
Now I like totally forgot why I was telling that.
I don't even, we weren't really talking anything of importance
Oh, it was
before
over
it. So
something stupid. Now I remember. And that was that I was saying on one of our family walks and talks that I was really proud of our family for getting out in front in the summer and getting nice tans early on in the summer. Cause I don't know, usually I feel like it takes me all summer to get a good tan. And, you know,
no, it's coming right along.
man, this seems like
You are
really shallow. Like if
bronzed.
you have, please don't turn us off yet. We'll get to some good stuff.
Or maybe we won't. Listen, every episode can't be a home run, gang. Okay. And that's why you got to tune in every single week and like, comment, and share because you never know.
Right.
And
And
this might be
honestly,
someone's right in someone's wheelhouse.
I mean, it could be right in someone's wheelhouse. And, you know, again, it's relatable because sometimes like you just talk about dumb shit.
That is true. Especially, well, you know what? I'm not even going to go there.
You were going to say something rude.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe I just decided not to say it.
Real quick though, I feel like we should give it a quick update. This is not what the episode is going to be about. But just real quick update. How much weight have you released? You know, we've shared on previous podcasts that episodes that, you know, we're leveling up in our health and physical appearance and our internal. Man, words are hard today. I said
I
it
see
before you
that,
could.
but
No,
you're like deflecting
we're
to me.
we're pushing and leveling ourselves up, right? But we've shared that before, and it's been a while since we've updated. So just like super quick update. How much weight have you released since May, middle of May?
20 pounds.
Rock on.
Thanks.
That's amazing. I mean,
I'm
I did know that
looking
already.
good and feeling good.
Yeah. Yeah. Your transformation has been really awesome.
And I won't uh titillate our viewers with a visual, but I'm wearing some shorts today and we acquired them, I think at Costco, possibly at Sam's Club. Who
Yeah.
knows? One of those white folk places.
Oh, stop it.
And
The Hurley shorts.
yes, you told me to stop it.
Oh my gosh.
So we bought them, and obviously those facilities don't have changing rooms, so you kind of got to eyeball the size. And so I got the size, and we got home,
Oh my
and
gosh, you're gonna
no, you know what I'm saying.
I
We got
know what you're saying.
home, and I put them on, and my beloved wife says, "Well, you look like 10 pounds of monkey crap in a 5-pound bag.
That is not
Perhaps,
what I said.
perhaps those will be your aspirational shorts."
That is not what I said. You
You
better back it up and replay it.
100%, you said those are aspirational shorts.
I probably said something similar to that. And here's the thing. Okay? Let
And then
me
she made me do the truffle shuffle.
stop.
Just constant humiliation in our bedroom.
Any Goonies fans out there? No, stop it. That is not how it went down. By way of the words that you said, I said. I didn't say that. And I don't recall what exact words I said, but I gave you honest feedback, which, first of all, is very important because I think it's a load of BS. And yes, there are tactful ways to say the things. But too often, we are telling our significant others, we are telling our family and our friends that they look good in things that they do not look good in. And that's not cool because, yes, I don't want you to tell me, like, I don't want you to be mean in your feedback to me, but I do not. I mean, maybe I'm like an anomaly. Hopefully, I use that word correctly. I do not. When I ask you, like, does this look okay? Do I look okay from behind or whatever it is I'm asking you? I don't want you to tell me that I look great in that if I actually don't. Like, that's worse for me.
No, I listen, I completely agree with you. All I'm saying is the sounds were probably a bit much. Hurt my feelings a little. But the reason I told you all that was now these shorts are like barely hanging on.
Look, it motivated you. You've done the work. And now those shorts, we got to buy new shorts.
Well, your cruel mocking of me didn't
Oh
motivate
my
me.
gosh. You are taking this to like,
A realistic level, an accurate
no, you're
portrayal of your emotional abuse.
look,
The cat's out of the bag, lady.
everybody who's on Team Beauty out there knows
All four of them.
they know. You're so rude. Anyways,
Gather around,
glad I
gal. We're
wanted to
having a meeting of all the fans.
it's not nice. First, your son like made me feel bad. Well,
Why?
that's
What'd
not
he
true
do?
because other people cannot make you feel bad. FYI, there's a little nug for you. Like you choose how you're going to take what people
Well,
say to you.
challenge accepted. But go on.
What did he say?
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about it. But first him, now
Well,
you.
then you shouldn't have brought it up.
Anyways, that's what I get for I was trying to like celebrate your progress and what you've been doing.
And I appreciate
I
that.
guess we kind of did.
Hats off to me.
You're so dumb. That's so dumb.
Listen, we tell the people we work with, right? You gotta celebrate the wins.
You do have to celebrate the wins. And I just want to go back real quickly to my little tirade there of you gotta like know how to do it, but at the same time, stop.
Well, I want to hear you tell us how to do it.
I'm just saying, I don't feel bad about my honesty with you about those shorts because at the time they did not completely fit you. And I was trying to be honest with you because I didn't want to give you some like false truth.
Right. Knocked it out of the park.
So, anyways, congrats to you.
Thanks.
Super stoked for your progress and your ongoing transformation.
Well, thanks. Now, how about you? How have
Uh,
you done?
I don't even want to talk about it now because the
Well,
last one kind of blew up in my face.
but like I'm launching this one, so it won't blow up in your face. If there's going to be blowing up, it'll be in my face. And I'm
I'm
willing to risk it for a biscuit.
I'm great. I think I have released I always get confused in my brain with the numbers, but I think
Math
I've
is hard.
released about 16 pounds since
Yeah.
May, about 4% body fat, pretty sure. I feel like an entirely new person, if I'm being honest with you, um, just in how I feel in my body.
And you're looking smoking hot.
Well, thanks.
And I too enjoy the way I feel in your body. Wait,
Stop.
that came out wrong.
Okay, on that note, we took our kids to their first carnival.
Well, footnote, not their first, but the first that they were
Okay,
actually old
yes.
enough to do anything at.
And truly remember.
Right.
Yes. So have had various conversations with our kids here and there about like roller coasters and rides. And when they were super little, we took a big family trip with Justin's side of the family. Obviously, they're my family too. How are you supposed to say that, by the way? Because I feel
Just
like
our
when I say
family.
like our, yeah, I know, but when I
It's
say
okay.
our family, that makes me think of like just the four of us, not like
Well, you can
extended
say
family.
our extended family.
There we go. Anyways, we went to Disney World with our extended family, like 10 years ago, right? Like it's been like 10 years.
Yeah, something like that. Well, 8 years ago, because it was when the Royals won the World Series
Okay. Um,
9 years ago.
so they really don't like they remember like super random little things about that, but they don't really remember anything. And we've gone to the fair here in town a couple different times when they were little. they don't remember much about that either. So for all intents and purposes, they have no
I've never
recollection
experienced a
of.
fair,
Right, right.
a carnival.
They've not been on rides, they've not been to an amusement park that they remember. So we've talked about that from time to time. And it is coming up on Independence Day, and we have a fair in the local community, or carnival in the local community. So I was like, hey, like, what do you think about taking the kids to that? I already know that fairs and carnivals and things aren't my jam anymore. I enjoyed them when I was younger. At some point, I developed a dislike for being in crowds of people, and at some point, I've developed a lack of enthusiasm for roller coasters and rides and things of that nature.
And listen, if you're sitting there in your little judge's chair and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you guys haven't taken your kids to a carnival or a fair before this year, kick rocks. Don't care. Because A, I'm not even sure why we took them when they were little, because it's just a waste of time. Like I personally don't care for fairs, carnivals. She just stated she doesn't. So there really wasn't any point to taking them before they could go and actually do the things.
I mean,
Nope, nope, stop.
okay. And just for, if you're listening or watching and you don't know, our kids are getting ready to go into the 8th grade and the 6th grade. So
Right.
that's the kind of time factor. So we decided to take them because the other day our son was saying, um, he was like, it's kind of like, we went to the pool out there and they saw them setting up the rides. And he was like, it's weird. Like, I've never been on a roller coaster. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. Like, you haven't really to remember. And he's like, yeah, like sometimes my friends at school talk about them. And it's kind of weird because, like, I've never been on one. So I don't really know. And so I suggested to Justin, I was like, I know carnivals aren't really your thing. They're not really my thing, but they need to experience it and see, do they like it? And so, anyways, we took them. And first of all, I love the fact that I wasn't jazzed about going there, and I'm not jazzed about, like, rides at a carnival anyway. Not that they're much safer in an amusement park, but there's just something about, like, randos that they hired to take these shows on the road, and is this stuff really safe for us to even be on anyway? So the fact that I had even entertained this idea of taking their kids and letting them ride on these things, and the very first ride they get in line to, why don't you share what unfolded in front
So
of us?
we saunter over, get in line, and they're finishing. There's like three people on it before we got. It's the octopus. If you've ever been to a state fair type thing, you know what I'm talking about. And they stopped the ride, and I'm like, all right, they're going to start letting people on, but nope. The little dude running the ride, he walks over to the center of the thing and he pulls out this big old wrench and he just starts turning bolts and cranking bolts, and he's wandering around. And he's like twisting things and pulling
And I look
things.
over at Justin and I'm like, is this really happening? Like, our kids are sitting in line. This is the first ride they're going to get on. Is this really happening that he is doing this right now?
And I was like, pump the brakes, lady. Obviously, this is a safety first gentleman and he's checking these things. But then out comes a sledgehammer and a crowbar. And I'm like,
And then a
well,
second guy coming, like he
yeah. And
needed
then the second guy
backup to,
comes. It started to get a little sketch and it's taking forever. So we're like, you know what? Let's go ride something else first.
yeah.
So off we went.
So off we went. They saw some of the bigger rides, which obviously at a carnival, like, there's not like crazy large things to do. But they were a no for the Ferris wheel, meaning they didn't even want to try it. They were a no for like the big.
And they've been on Ferris wheels other places,
They
because
have.
like we go to Shields in Kansas City and they have a Ferris wheel inside. So like we weren't depriving our kids of a Ferris wheel.
Right, but they were
Hold
no
on.
for a Ferris wheel. They were no for like the little spinny thing. They were no. They
Called the
did
Ring of
have like
Fire.
a roller coaster, like loop de loop thing. They were like a no for that. They were no for like a fly, anything that was like going to go really high up in the air or put them upside down. They were,
They said no thanks.
yeah. So they ended up riding in the teacups. There were two little different teacup things that they partook in. Um,
Which basically, if you haven't seen them, if you remember the old Tilt-A-Whirl from when you were a kid,
yeah,
this has
like that.
replaced the Tilt-A-Whirl.
So they did that, and then they got on the scrambler. I feel like everyone should know what the scrambler is. Like, it's called the scrambler anywhere you go. But they got on that. That one was a little bit crazy for them, but they liked it. And then we ended up going back to the octopus. And they rode the octopus, and, or maybe you don't know, but it starts out slow. The car thingy that you're in can ultimately spin and turn a little bit, um, but then, like, the legs, are moving around as you're going around in circles, and it starts
Go
off
up and
slow.
down.
Yeah, and it races up and down, but then it gets faster, and it ends up, like, you end up sliding to one side and then to the other side of your thing. So, as we're watching them through this, um I could tell part of the way through, like, they were not having it, and watched, and, you try to gauge, like, okay, like, are they just did I just catch them at a point? Are you with me? Did
Yeah.
I just catch them in a point where their facial expression was looking one way, or, like, is something really wrong? And even I'm like, "Nope, they're not liking this. Nope, they're not liking this. I think we need to tell them to stop." And, of course, I tend to be the one that will overreact a little bit like that, so Justin's like, you know, not quick to go in and ask him to turn the light off, but finally I
You
was
got
like,
to
"No."
weather some storms.
So I catch their eyes, and I'm like, and they're like, "Yeah, no." So anyways, told the people, "Turn it off, get him off." And turns out I thought Dax was getting sick. Turns out he felt like he was gonna fly out of the car because there were no seat belts in the car. They were just like the latch belt thing. And after that, like, they were done. They were like, "We're done. We don't want to ride anything else over it."
We are carnied out.
So the bigger nug of this is not to have just shared with you, like, hey, like, our kids figured out they don't really love carnivals and rides and whatnot. But I think it's important to know that it's okay, right? Like, I feel like this is one of the things that, like, oh, everybody's supposed to take their kids to amusement parks, or everybody's supposed to take their kids to the fair. You're supposed to, and it's like, no, like, we kind of figured, I mean, we already knew for ourselves, but, like, they figured out, at least for the time being, like, we're just not those people. Like,
Right.
I asked them, I was like, "Okay, so, like, you know, are we carnival people?" They're like, "No." I'm like, "So you don't wanna we don't need to plan a trip to, like, an amusement park?" And, like, "Nope." I'm like, "We need to stick to, like, beaches and, lakes and oceans." And they're like, "Yep." And I think that's really, really important, because in a world of social media, it's so easy to look around and feel like there's certain things that you and your family should enjoy or should be doing, because it seems like everybody else does, which, number
Right.
1, that's not true. Everybody else is not doing the thing that you think everyone else is doing.
Definitely not.
Um, but even if they were, it's okay to not like those things. Like,
Right.
it's okay.
Everything ain't for everybody.
Well, it's not, and I think it's a good lesson for our kids too, because, and I guess that's one thing that I don't know if we've created that in them or what, but I feel like they have a pretty good ability to stand in the things that they know about themselves, their likes and dislikes. Like,
Yeah.
when they know they don't care for something, um it really doesn't matter to them if everyone else around them does or not. Now, of course, I will go on record saying, could that change as they continue to get older and they succumb to peer
Knock on wood that it
pressure?
doesn't.
I sure hope not. But it could. But for right now, like, they repeatedly show us over and over again that, like, they are fine, like, with what they like, with what they don't like, and they are fine if that seemingly goes against the masses. And I really love that about them.
I love it most of the time. Well, I mean, let's be
Well,
honest. There are
when
some
do you
times we're
not
like,
love
no,
it?
this is what we're having for dinner.
Okay, in those
So I'm
instances,
just
but
saying it's not 100% applicable.
I would agree with you, I guess. But I'm just saying, like, in the moments that matter, I just am really proud of them for that, because I know for myself, at that age, probably definitely wasn't that confident in standing my ground in some of those
No, for
things.
sure.
Um, and there's still times as an adult I can find myself having to check myself and be like, no, like, just because just because everyone else doesn't mean that, you have to do that too. And so I think that's really great for them. And I also, the other thing I noticed is like some of the rides, like the teacup ride, right? Or the dragon ride that they rode. Some would probably look at those rides and look at those as like, those are like little kid rides,
Sure.
even though like,
They
everybody could
weren't.
ride them,
Right.
right?
There was adults on them.
Right. But the perception would be like, those are little kid rides. And that's something else. Like our kids just, I don't know if it's not that they don't have an awareness of it, but it's still one of those things where like, oh, I think this is fun. So I'm going to
There's
do it.
embracing life.
Right.
Right.
And I want to be more like them, to be honest.
I get it. Well, and it's one of those things, right? Like, obviously, when we become adults, there are some childish things that we should put away, right? And not do anymore. At the same time, like, there's way too many adults that are like, oh, well, like, you shouldn't play anymore because you're an adult. You're not a
Mhm.
child. And it's like, no, man, you should go play tag every once in a while,
Well, or,
for
even
example.
like there's probably some people out there that would have been like, oh, you're not riding that rides for like little kids.
Right.
You're too old to be doing that.
No, man, if you enjoy it, let it rip,
Right. Right.
as long
They're
as it's
fine with it.
legal.
And I love it. And I think some of that too, it's been helpful. Like they're in the smaller school community, that they've been attending. And just kind of I think too, it goes back to like the amount of time that we connect as a family. They're just not, how to say this. I feel like because of their lack of exposure to a lot of social media. I mean, you see them on social media because of what we share, but like
Right.
they themselves are not
Right.
they can't be on. I'm just saying their lack of exposure to some of the things of the world has allowed them to develop a sense of self
Sure.
earlier on, right? Like I feel like they are less influenced by the world. They certainly are influenced. I'm just saying, I feel like, and comparatively to what I think to when I was going into the 8th grade, for example, or the 6th grade, I had been exposed, I believe, to like way more of society in the world, right? Than I feel like our kids have at this point.
Sure.
And because of that, along with just the way we've chosen to bring them up and place emphasis on family time and faith and health and those kinds of things, that it has allowed them to develop a sense of self that is fairly solid at a very young age, that a
I would
lot of
agree with
kids
all
I
that.
don't think have today, because they are so exposed to anything and everything earlier on in life just because of the way our society has moved.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't know that some things obviously we've done with intentionality with them. Some of them, I think it's just been a byproduct of our own growth and everything's just kind of aligned. And then we've made those decisions accordingly with them. We certainly didn't set out saying like, we want to make sure our kids develop a sense of self early on. Like, that's
Yeah,
what
we're
I
not that
mean.
smart.
No, but because of the paths of growth that we've chosen and our walk in our faith and different things, it has ended up aligning in such a way that has helped us to create that for them.
Yep.
And it's just really cool to see because like I said, I certainly don't feel like I had that at that age. And I think that gives them leverage as they continue to grow and move into the adulthood.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be really interesting to see how it plays out, right? As they
Mhm.
get older and move into adulthood and more complicated relationships and whatnot.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah. I didn't mean to imply like, oh, we're just set and it's going to be a walk in the park from here on out, but it's
nope,
certainly cool to
sure won't be.
see right now. But yeah, there will be no more intentional fairs, carnivals, amusement parks in the plans for the Deweese fam. It's just not us. And I just say that because I want to encourage you. That's the big nug for today is be you
Right.
and be the kind of woman or man that you want to be. Be the kind of family that you want to be and stay true to that. True to that.
Ugh. Can we not?
Just give yourself permission to stay true to that. Because it's okay. There's one of them. He's like walking behind you
Subtle.
like I'm gonna try not look at the camera,
If
but I
I
did look
don't
at the
look at the
camera.
camera, it won't see me.
No, that's the big nug is you get to decide what you like, what you don't like, what makes sense for you, what doesn't make sense to you, what your family is going to participate in or not participate in, like all of those things. And there's no exact model of what that has to mean. You get to decide for yourself, you get to decide for your family. And as I said earlier, like, and it's okay. You don't have to be like everybody else.
Well, that's the thing, right? There's no instruction manual,
Right.
right? So like if there was an instruction manual and it said take your kids to the carnival every year and they'll turn out great because of this, that, and the other thing, okay, then I'd consider it, right? But there's not. So to your point, you need to decide what you want your life to look like, what you want your family life to look like, all those things. Because again, there's no manual that says, oh, this is the right way and this is the wrong way.
Right.
There's your way, and that's the right way.
Right. Right. What works well for you and what doesn't work well for
Right.
you. Yeah, super, super important. So anywho, that's our out of the house moment for the week. Right.
Why did you put air quotes around moment?
I don't know. I was
It's
just
just
throwing it.
weird. It was an actual moment. It wasn't a pretend moment. Just you're confusing our viewers.
I'm sorry.
You're
Well,
misleading
but
them.
it's great for the listeners because they can't see it, but now you've told them. So
Well, I mean, we tell them every week, you should definitely watch this. You can watch it through Spotify as you're listening to the podcast, or you can go to our YouTube channel and watch it there. And if you go to the YouTube channel, you should like and comment on that YouTube and then share it with your friends
that
because
would be great.
sharing is caring.
And even more so than that, it would be cool if you watched last week's episode. Little reference to last
Oh,
week's
nice little
episode
tie
there.
in there.
See
You
that?
slick son of a.
I always welcome you, so does Justin, to leave in the comments like a biggest takeaway. Like what did you take away from the episode? How did it help you? Because that helps us
Right.
as we continue to talk about things here that if we're talking about things that you're like, I'm not getting nothing out of this, that maybe we can reframe the way we talk about our unfiltered life
Or
happenings. Or
give
we're
us an
not for you.
aspect of life that you want to hear our take on in the
Yeah.
comments. And
Yeah.
you know what? She'll probably censor some of it because she's like that. But I'm an open book. I'll say it all. Don't care.
On that note, thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
We love you all.